Let's talk about trusting your intuition the first time. Let's talk about trusting your intuition the first time, how to trust your intuition the first time, why you should trust your intuition the first time. You know, I really admire the human body because when you really just sit down and think about the dynamics of our bodies and what it can do and you know what I believe? As much as we know about our bodies, I don't think this is my opinion, I don't think we even reach 50% of what our body actually does. When I say 50% in knowledge and understanding of what our body really does to keep us here on earth and to hold our soul and our spirit and to keep us functioning while we're in this human experience. I don't think we truly comprehend. I don't know if can call our bodies the machinery, or just think about all the systems that are in our body and our nervous system, our respiratory system, our circulatory system, how the body, it circulates blood throughout your body. Think about when you get a cut and how your body, that little cut on your finger, your body can recognize uh, the cut, and it knows to send the cells and everything it needs to repair the cut and close the cut because you don't want to lose blood and you don't want to get an infection. So your body knows how to repair itself and heal itself, and it's just miraculous, and it just speaks to our creator, the creator of this body. Our bodies are not by accident, and I'm just truly in awe. If you want to see God, look at your body. Really look at your body, how your body just knows. Your body has a cycle, especially if you're a woman. You have your monthly cycle. Your body is on a system. Your body it can pick up on energy. It's just so amazing to me every time I just think about my body, and it just makes me want to take care of my body even more when I realize your body is more valuable than a car, right? People will invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into cars and material things, but when it comes to your body, which is the most beautiful investment you can continue to invest in, that's where your investment should be. And you should be have awareness of the tools that your body has been equipped with, right? And some of the tools that your body has, it's developed over time as you come into more awareness of the world and as you've come into more experiences. And this leads me to talk about intuition, right? Your intuition is one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal. And it's not mystical, it's not dramatic, it's a safety mechanism. And I think when you think about your intuition as a survival tool, it will help you to start to trust it more the first time, right? Because intuition, that's the purpose of intuition, is for you to act on it immediately, right? A lot of the times we get in situations and we have hindsight vision, or when we look back we can say, oh, my intuition told me, something told me. When they say something told me, I don't know, something felt off, something felt right. Like after the bridge has collapsed, that's when all of a sudden we get all this revelation about what we saw prior, but we did not act on it when we saw it. We waited for everything to play out to credit our intuition instead of trusting our intuition the first time, right? Because intuition exists, if you really think about it, intuition exists to navigate uncertainty. Intuition exists to navigate uncertainty. We live in this world and we don't know everything, right? We're going to encounter so many experiences. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with all kind of people with all kind of experiences, all walks of life. We're going to be in so many different situations. We're going to be in so many different rooms. We're going to have to deal with certain family members. We're going to have to deal with institutions. We're going to be in jobs where we're leaders. We're going to have different roles and different hats in our lives. And if you really think about it, humans survived because we could detect threats early, right? Survival was about detecting threats early. Even if you look in nature and you look at how the wild works and how animals can sense danger and how they respond when danger is present, because for animals, they can't be like, oh, I something's off, but I'm just gonna chill. No, because for animals, it could literally mean life or death. It could literally mean you're about to get eaten, your babies are about to get eaten. So for animals, they have to know how to act impulsively on their animalistic intuition, whatever it's called for them in their kingdom or whatever. And when we translate that to us, it's like our nervous system is equipped to read tones and posture and patterns and environment, right? Our nervous system reads tones, posture, patterns, and environment. And I really want to study the nervous system more because, man, that the nervous system is where it's at. I'm telling you, once your nervous system is regulated, it really helps you hone in on your intuition even more. And if we treated intuition less like a vibe and more like an internal navigation system, we'd respect it more. Let me say that again. Pause. If we treated intuition less like a vibe and more like an internal navigation system, we'd respect it more, right? Because now we can frame intuition as safety, as discernment, as efficiency, as self protection, especially if you don't have anyone to protect you in this world. If you're alone in this world, quote unquote, you're not alone if you think you're alone, but if you don't have quote unquote elders or guidance or someone helping you in your journey, it's a really good idea to lean into your intuition, because your intuition is what will guide you, right? So when we really talk about intuition, basically what we're talking about is pattern recognition plus experience. And it doesn't even get any deeper than that. We're really talking about pattern recognition plus experience, because really intuition is accumulated experience, right? And it's stored memory. It's stored memory. And it's our subconscious pattern detection. It's our subconscious pattern detection. And it's also nervous system calibration, right? Think about it. You wouldn't tell a 7-year-old to trust their intuition about business partnership because they don't have the pattern library yet, right? You would not tell a 7-year-old to trust their intuition about business partnerships because they don't have the pattern library yet. However, you can expose them to that. You can teach, there's so much you can teach a young child. You can, you can set a child up for business and you can teach them lessons, but until they get the experience, that's when your words will start to click with them and they'll be able to use the words and partner it with the experience and make decisions at their level. And that's why I say don't discredit kids. Don't think a kid is too young to learn something. Expose kids early. I'm telling you, these kids learn fast. We have technology. Kids pick up things fast. You can mold a kid to be anything. You can mold a kid to be a genius. You can mold a kid to really take over the world. But it really depends on the investment that you want to put into that child and what you expose that child to early. And if there are any parents listening to this and you have young kids, invest in your kids early. Teach them as much as you can early. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful experience. And it's just beautiful watching the kids grow and take the knowledge that you've given them and they multiply it, and then you get feedback from it, and you're just amazed at what they do with your information, especially as they get older and they get exposed to things in school and online and the world. Kids are literally geniuses, but the parents have to really emotionally regulate themselves and invest in their kids and not compete with their kids. Recognize the gifts of your kids, and I promise you it will pay off. It may seem tiring, you may seem like your labor is in vain, but I'm telling you, if you raise up a child in the way they should go, they will not depart from what you have given them. And yes, that's in the Bible. But it is so true. It is so true. So when we talk about intuition, you can start teaching your children to build their intuition, right? You always, how do you do that? You take it, I'm getting off tangent, but someone needs to hear this. You take the children go through experiences, right? And you can take each experience that child goes through and you can apply a lesson to it. And that's how you build a child's intuition, right? I don't know, like a child gets into a fight at school, or a child is being bullied, or a child, they want more money, they want some money to buy something. Like, you can use anything that child is, what's relevant to their experience at that age, and you can start teaching them pattern recognition and intuition, and they will pick it up. And I'm telling you, you will raise a top tier child, but you have to be willing to invest in that. And that just goes to my point that intuition grows with exposure, right? The more you're exposed to, the more you start clocking patterns, and it grows with every betrayal that you've experienced, every red flag, every success. It's not always bad. Every failure, every energy shift. So it's like you build this internal database, right? And you just store things and you store things. And so intuition is experience moving faster than your conscious thought. So if I had to sum it up, it's intuition is experience moving faster than your conscious thought. And let me say why intuition feels different for like younger people. So let's say you're at 18. Of course, you're 18 years old. You don't have 30 years of data, right? But let me just say this too, just because someone's older, it really is irrelevant, because you would think that they would have more wisdom, more experience, but some people choose not to develop and grow. And I've seen people in their 40s make decisions where I'm like, that's something you would think like a 20-year-old would make. And they were tricked, and they fell for schemes in their 40s. So you really, it really is about exposure, but it's really you acting on the data that you've collected and knowing, basically discernment, and making the choice of how you're going to respond. That's really the difference. So, like, again, if you're young listening to this, if I know I have some younger people listening to this. Let's say you're 18 and you haven't experienced even dating, or you haven't experienced even having your first car. You may think like you don't have intuition, but you do. How do you know? Your body gives you signals. Your body gives you signals. You feel discomfort, right? It's like this discomfort settles over you. Your gut shifts. Your gut feels weird. It's like something in the pit of your stomach, right? You recognize boundary reaction. So don't discredit yourself because you're young. Your body, your intuition is always speaking to you, right? Even if you don't fully have the experience, because your nervous system recognizes energy. I don't know how it does. Just like if someone comes in the room, right, and you can tell they're mad, like, or you have a parent that comes in the room and you can tell they're mad, your body picks up that something is off. There's a shift in energy, right? When a certain person walks in the room, all of a sudden the tone of the room changes. Some people feel sick. Some people know they're in trouble. If the boss is mad and the boss comes in the office, you just pick up, your body just picks up on it. So don't ever discredit where you are, right? We all started somewhere. And even if you don't have deep life experience, you can still notice, like, you may feel drained after talking to a person. Pay attention to that, right? Ask yourself, why do I feel pressure here? Why did your body tense up when someone said something, right? Why is it when you go to a party, you feel something off? Like, you can't really pinpoint it, but something just feels off. Like someone looking at you a certain way, or people are acting kind of short or weird around you, people trying to set you up. Like, you just feel something off. So yes, you may not have, if you're young, you may not have the full pattern libraries, but you still have a nervous system, and your nervous system is on point, right? So you may not know why it's off, but you can notice that it's off. And that's where the difference is. You may not notice why something is off. You're like, man, something just doesn't feel right. Like, why do I feel like this? But you can notice that it's off. So if you don't have years of experience, trust your body first. If you don't have years of experience, trust your body first. Your body is on point. Your body is here to protect you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Trust me. So now let me just say this. Your intuition is faster than your ego. Like, intuition speaks quickly. You'll feel like a tightening in your chest. You'll feel just this subtle discomfort. It's like this doubt. It's like a quiet pause, right? That's how intuition speaks quickly. Like, you just feel a shift in your body. You start hearing this ringing in your ears. You feel like you're not in your body. Um, you just feel uneasy, like it's this unsettling feeling. But and then here's where the ego comes in. The ego will be like, maybe I'm overthinking. There could be somebody in your life that tells you like, oh, you're always overthinking. I remember there was someone who told me that, oh, I'm just overthinking, I'm overthinking. Really, no, my intuition was on point, but they didn't want me to catch on to what they were doing. So they made it sound like I just overthink. And that overthinking has been my strength, and people try to make it look like a weakness. But I'm so grateful, because when I overthink, it helps me to slow down sometimes and really assess what the heck is going on. And then our ego, and this is the thing about our ego, we don't want to look dramatic, right? We don't want to cause a problem. We don't want to look like we're a burden, or we're just causing drama or anything, like, right? And then the ego responds slower and says, oh, let me wait for proof. The ego is like, well, let me just wait and see. Or the ego will try to tell us, maybe I'm insecure. Maybe I'm insecure. And that's the thing. Intuition alerts us where ego negotiates. Let me say it again. Intuition alerts us where ego negotiates. Let me tell you about a time where I have never felt my intuition more than this time. And I've been waiting to tell this story because it really shaped my life. But okay, so especially if you've grown up in the church, if you went to church, there's like this pressure in the church, especially if you're a single woman, that that you're getting older and you need to find you a godly man who can pray and who's in the church, who loves God, who loves Jesus, right? And there was this minister at the church. I wasn't really feeling him. Like, I didn't like him. But it was like the first lady kept trying to push that this was the guy for me, that he's a good guy, he knows how to pray. She even made up this prophecy that some guy was coming into my life and I need to prepare to be a wife. I mean, I knew she made it up because she had talked to him prior about him approaching me. So she tried to make it seem like it was just big prophecy from God that my husband was coming. And then all of a sudden he's in my face, which I saw clear. I saw through that. But so, I was like, in my mind, I was like, you know what? Let me just see. So I actually invited him to go for coffee. So we met up at Starbucks, and we just kind of met up and talked, had coffee or whatever. And I didn't think nothing of it until I got home that night. And when I tell you, my intuition kicked in so bad, I had to get out of bed, get on my knees, and pray. I've never felt it was like this unsettling, it was like this impending doom feeling in my belly. If you've ever experienced it, then it was like this doom in my stomach. And I already knew what it was. It was saying to leave that man alone. And I didn't, I was like, oh my God, what is this? I was like, how do I get rid of this feeling? And it wasn't like fear of like, oh, being in a relationship or falling in love or nothing. It was like this warning inside of my stomach to leave him alone. And I got on my knees and prayed, and I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, I'm going to trust my intuition because I've never felt that before. Mind you, I had people in the church that kept pushing this guy on me. And I kept telling them, I'm like, no, not what I'm looking for. I even brought other guys to church to try to show them that he's not what I want. And like, to get them off of me, but they kept trying to push, like, you need a man that can pray, you need a man that can pray. And then it turned into a weird situation. This man literally started stalking me, y'all. It was so bad. He started stalking me. I actually went to the police, and I was trying to get a restraining order. And the one thing the police told me was like, you need to get up out of there. Because for one, with the church, you can't, it's kind of, the jurisdiction in the church is a little different because I'm volunteering to go there. And versus like a business, there's like HR policy, you know, you can kind of, you can sue if you need to. Like there's more legal protection in like in the jobs, but in the church, you don't really have that legal jurisdiction. And the police told me like, why are you still there? He was like, they don't even appreciate you, and you're going through all this. You can find another church that will appreciate your music and your singing and all of that. And I was like, man, the police had to tell me this. But it got so bad, like I was depressed, I was crying at work, like I was literally being stalked. And I don't want to go into too much detail. And when I went to the leadership to try to tell them, they tried to make it seem like it was my fault, and that I was just trying to cause trouble. And the thing was, they didn't want it to get out that their minister was crazy because they built this image of the ministry. And so they tried to make me look bad. They tried to humiliate me in front of the church. They tried to make it look like I was the troublemaker. They said it was my fault because he bought me some tacos, and he helped me like with my keyboard to my car and stuff. And they're trying to make it seem like I was using him for tacos and help for my keyboard. Mind you, the keyboard that I was bringing to church was my own personal keyboard that the church was benefiting from. So somebody, I mean, he wasn't the only one who would help me like load my keyboard because it was a heavy keyboard. But anyways, so I'm just going to show my intuition was on point despite everyone telling me that this was my husband and this was the man I needed to be with. This man was crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if something popped off with him after I left. And the crazy thing is 2 months after I left that church, the pastor passed away. And it was just a lot that happened. That might have to be another video. But man, I was so glad I trusted my intuition and I didn't let other people tell me otherwise. And that's the thing. People will try to tell you to go against your intuition. And they try to tell me I was overthinking. That no, this is who you need to be with. This is a man of God. This is a he's a praying man. But I saw everything. And the thing that they were showing me, like I could see everything he was not. I could see all the lies he was doing to try to make me think he was somebody he was not. Like I saw through all his lies. For example, it's just little things like he sells car insurance, right? He was a minister, so he would preach about how he does all these business deals and he sells insurance. And he had a dent in the side of his car. Like he kept a dent in the side of his car. And I'm like, how do you sell insurance but you keep a dent in the side of your car? That was a red flag to me. Because you sell insurance, you should be able to get that fixed easily. And then the man who does not take care of his car and doesn't take care of the details of his car, he couldn't take care of me. And I remember my car had broke down at church and he was nowhere to be found. I had to get the married men to help me. And he just rolled by. And then he tried to come on the back end and like try to give me advice about a car that you could tell he Googled. It was crazy, y'all. Like he was a grifter. He was not who he was. And I could see that he was a snake. And I even told the pastor that I told him he needs to kick him out the church. And then I think that was kind of the final straw. And I made the decision to leave. Baby, when I tell you when I left, I had so much peace. Oh my God, when I left that church, I had so much peace. And it was like my nervous system was like, finally, girl, we was telling you. Why didn't you just use my intuition? My intuition actually told me I should have left that church even before all of that. But it's just fear because, the church will put fear in you that, oh, you're church hopping. Oh, you're leaving God. You're unstable. Like they will put a lot of fear in you. And that's the thing too. You can't let religion. Oh my God, that's another topic. I'm just going to throw this out there. Don't let religion overshadow your intuition. Your intuition is bigger than religion. And the opinions and these religious opinions, they try to throw at you in fear. And this is not a political message. This is not a religious message. This is my lived experience, because they will try to make you think that you're going against God if you trust yourself, right? I remember I talked about I wanted to take another job in another city. And then they was like, oh, you're church hopping. Oh, God planted you here. Why would you go to another city? It's like, you have to be careful. And you have to trust yourself so much despite the voices of others, because that's where they try to to make you discredit yourself. And they say that was the main thing. Oh, you're overthinking. You're overthinking. You're overthinking. And when you hear that over and over, but I just think I know, and it's funny, my intuition is funny. My intuition had to come at me hard so that I could be equipped for all those voices that tried to tell me otherwise. And I'm so glad my intuition hit. So so why do we override our intuition, right? Because just like I said, we fear being wrong, we fear missing out. And it's funny with the fear missing out, that minister, I remember the first lady, it was so manipulative. She would preach. She's going to be like, when this minister gets married, all you women going to be jealous. Like, she tried to paint this picture like, I'm going to be so jealous when he finds another woman. Right? I was like, why are they trying to push me on this guy? Like, he wasn't even cute. He was like 20 years older than me. He wasn't cute. I wasn't attracted to him. So I'm like, why are they trying to push this narrative? Right. And then we override our intuition because we fear losing potential. Right. We don't want to disrupt the vibe, so to speak. Right. Even in your college years, to the younger people, you know, we override our intuition because basically in your college years, you want connection, you want community, you want to be around people, you want opportunity. So you suppress your intuition to fit in. You suppress your intuition to fit in, right? So what trusting, we want to look at what trusting intuition the first time actually looks like. And why do I say the first time? Why is it important? Because sometimes you don't get a second chance. I know it's like it's like you don't know if that intuition that pops off, if that's your last chance, right? You don't know. How many stories have we heard where something popped off and someone had text before something popped off and was like, man, something doesn't feel right. And this can literally be life or not life, right? And it's crazy because it really is statistics, is probability. So that's why you have to get better and better at trusting your intuition the first time. So let me say this: trusting your intuition does not mean to cut someone off instantly. It doesn't mean making public accusations. It does not mean being impulsive. When I talk about trusting your intuition, it really means slowing down. Slow down. Don't move so fast. Ask better questions, right? Ask better questions about a situation. If someone is trying to get you to do something, ask questions like, why are they so pressed to get you to move quickly, right? You want to reduce access. Oh, do I want to talk about this? Let me tell you, ladies, okay. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I know someone needs to hear this. So be careful being alone with a guy, because this is how guys work. Some guys, they just want to lay down with you, right? And what they do is they get you alone, preferably at night, preferably after you ate or like you had some alcohol or something, and they want to sleep with you. So what they do is they move quickly. They move quickly so you don't have time to think. You don't have time to process what's happening, right? So they move super fast. So first of all, your intuition probably told you not to be alone with this guy. So you should have trusted it at that point. But I'm just showing the point about how you want to slow down, right? Because when you move fast, you make decisions and you don't process, and you make decisions that you regret. So what trusting your intuition means, it means reducing access. Not everybody needs to be around you. You don't need to be in every environment. You don't have to go to every party. You don't have to take every invite given to you. Trusting your intuition the first time means watching behavior very closely, right? It also means not over investing early. That's I'm gonna say that's something I struggle with, over investing in people early. And what that does, you have too many dealings with that person. So it's harder to cut away, right? Because if you've invested money with this person, if you're investing time with this person, if y'all are both working on a project, it's not as easy to cut them off. And you're going to stay in that situation longer because you have something kind of bonding you. But you want to not over invest early and watch people and let them show you who they are. And if you're a younger person, don't sign things that you don't understand, especially in college. I was signing up for all kind of loans, all kind of credit cards, store credit cards, and all this stuff. I didn't understand it, right? So don't sign things you don't understand. Get help. Really understand what you're signing. Don't let no one pressure you to sign something. Don't ignore discomfort when you're in groups. If something just doesn't feel right, trust it. Walk away. If it's an L, you'll just take the L, but at least you'll be safe. You'll be safe. Don't dismiss how someone makes you feel consistently. If you just don't feel good around someone, you just feel depressed, you just feel like when you leave someone's presence, you feel drained, trust that. And let me just say this, trusting your intuition doesn't require drama. It requires adjustment. Trusting your intuition doesn't require drama. It just means it requires adjustments. And I just want to say, the more you listen to your intuition, the stronger it becomes. It really is a muscle. Intuition is a muscle. And the more you override it, the quieter it gets. And the thing is, if you're wrong, you gain information. If you're right, you save your time, energy, and sometimes safety. So you know what? I would rather be wrong. So I'm going to trust my intuition. Your intuition is more loyal than anybody in this world. Right? I would put I would bet on my intuition before I bet on someone else. Right? So practice trusting your intuition the first time. And that's my lesson to you guys. Practice trusting your intuition the first time, not because you're paranoid, but because you respect yourself. Right? And if you're wrong, you just gain information and you just gain experience. If you go somewhere and the vibe feels off, there'll be times I'm at the gym and I can just tell the vibes off. I can tell like I'm being watched, or like a guy is following me, or I can just feel it, and I just pivot. Like I'll cut my workout short. I'll decide to come back another time. I'll go to another part of the gym. Um, I have multiple gyms, so I can go to another gym. Like that's how in tuned I am. If the vibe is off, if I just feel like I just feel something. Like when somebody comes by me, I just pick up on stuff. Like I'm being watched. Why are they trying to get in proximity to me? Like I'm on this side of the gym. I go to the other side of the gym. You're there. Then I go back to the other side of the gym. You're there. And you're not even you're working legs. Why all of a sudden you're switching to upper body, right? Like I just pay attention, and I'm not afraid to walk away. I'm not afraid to walk away. Even if I'm walking down the street and I see some activity ahead on the street, I will actively just cross the street and go to the other side of the street. Right? I don't know. I just anticipate based on how I feel, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Let me just go make a left here. Right? And this comes with experience, but you have to be aware. So this is more to expose you to how amazing your intuition is. Treat your intuition like your best friend. Your intuition will not let you down. All right, bye.